Lovely morning, dear students. We have done till paragraph 7 in part 1 of the chapter Taro's Reward. And we saw that Taro had a strong will to fulfill his parents' desire. And he worked hard to buy expensive sake for his old father to warm his bones. And to his wonder, he found a gushing stream which had delicious sake instead of cold water. And his father was delighted to drink the sake, and taking just a sip of it, he stopped shivering and did a little dance too. Now, let's see what happens next. That afternoon, a neighbor stopped by for a visit. Taro's father politely offered her a cup of sake. Now, here, that afternoon, a lady from the neighborhood stopped to visit them, and Taro's father, being a good host, politely offered her a cup of sake, as there was plenty of sake in the pitcher. The lady drank it greedily. Now, what is the meaning of greedily? Greedily means as if desiring for more and more. So, this lady drank it greedily as this was very delicious and thanked the old man. She inquired about this sake from them, that how did you make such a delicious sake? Then Taro told her the story of the magic waterfall. Thanking them for the delicious drink, she left in a hurry. Now, getting the information about the magic waterfall, she had a curiosity to spread the story in the whole village. So she hurried to the village. She left their house and she hurried. By nightfall, she has spread the story throughout the whole village. By night, everybody in the village was aware of the story that there is a magic stream that gave sake in place of cold water. That evening, there was a long procession of visitors to the woodcutter's house. Now, knowing the story about the magic stream, the magic waterfall, everybody wanted to know the truth about it. So, there was a big procession of visitors. Procession means a rally of visitors to the woodcutter's house, and they wanted to know the truth about it. Each man heard the story of the waterfall and took a sip of the sake. Whoever came there heard the story about the waterfall, and they were also offered a sip of sake, just one sip of sake. In less than an hour, the pitcher was empty. There were so many visitors that less than an hour the pitcher was empty. Next morning, Taro started for work even earlier than the morning before. So, he started for work even earlier than the previous morning. He carried with him the largest pitcher he owned, for he intended first of all to go to the waterfall, and with him he carried the biggest pitcher that was there at home that he owned, because his first intention was as soon as he reached the forest he will go to the waterfall and he will fill the pitcher with sake. When he reached it, he found, to his great surprise, all his neighbors were there. When he reached there, he was surprised to see the whole village there near the magic waterfall. They were carrying pitchers, jars, buckets, anything they could find to hold the magic sake. Then one villager knelt and held his mouth under the waterfall to drink, just to taste the wonderful sake, just to test it. One villager, what he did, he just knelt down and he knelt down and held his mouth under the waterfall to drink. He drank again and again and then shouted angrily, again, taking one sip. He was not happy. Again, he took the sip. Again. But then, after all, he realized that it was not sake. It was plain water. Water! Nothing but water. Others also tried, but there was no sake, only cold water. For these villagers, there was no sake from the magic waterfall. Can you imagine why? Because all these villagers were greedy and selfish. Because of their greed and selfish, they were not blessed to have the sake from the waterfall as Taro did. Now here you can see the whole village, the crowd. You can see the amount of crowd standing under the waterfall to get the sake from it. And you can see the line. See the line of the containers they are carrying to fill the sake. And you can see Taro hiding behind the rocks seeing all this scene. We have been tricked, shouted the villagers. Where is Taro? Tricked means deceived, dhoka dena. We have been tricked, deceived. Where is Taro? Let us drown him in this waterfall. उन्होंने बोला, drown means to sink him. Okay, to kill him in this waterfall. But Taro had been wise enough to slip behind a rock when he saw how things were going. He was nowhere to be found, but Taro was intelligent enough to hide himself from the danger, and he slipped behind the rock. Muttering their anger and disappointment, the villagers left the place one by one. Muttering means speaking unclearly. Speaking unclearly, they all were annoyed and angry with Taro. Okay, and then they left the place one by one. Taro came out from his hiding place. Was it true? He wondered. After all the villagers left that place, he came out from his hiding place. And he was thinking, was it true? Was the sake a dream? Once more he caught a little liquid in his hand and put it to his lips. Again he cupped a little water, little liquid in his palm, and he put it to his lips. It was the same fine sake. To the thoughtful son, the magic waterfall gave the delicious sake. To everyone else, it was only cold water. So you can see the blessing, the miracle that this Taro had. Why he had? Because he was a thoughtful and kind person. He was a thoughtful son. So for him, the liquid was sake, delicious sake, but for else everyone it was only cold water. The story of the Taro and his magic waterfall reached the Emperor of Japan. So the story about Taro spread all around and it even reached the Emperor of Japan. He sent for the young woodcutter and rewarded him with 20 pieces of gold for having been so good and kind. Sent for means send a message and call the person is sent for called. So when Taro went to the king, he was rewarded with 20 pieces of gold. Why? Because he was good and kind. Then he named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro. And he also named the most beautiful fountain in the city after the name Taro. And why this was done so? This, said the emperor, was to encourage all children to honor and obey their parents. So, what the moral of the story is? We all have an important moral to be inculcated from the story. We also live with our parents, but we are all are so occupied with our own work and things that we neglect our parents or disobey them. Most of the time, we forget the sacrifices our parents make for us. So it's our duty to keep our parents happy and help them in the way we can. We should always take care of our parents and obey them, and the elders also. Remember, God bless those children in abundance who take care of their parents. Thank you, lovely children. Take care.